for the oops. Everything I will just forget. Oh. Mm, tac, shortage. Okay. Ah. Mm.
Hello. Can you
Oh,
hear me? Hi. Hello.
Yo-yo. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Same. Yes.
Yes.
Um, uh, um, okay.
I'll share my screen.
Yes, I will allow you to share your screen. Before that, I will talk a bit about the study group because the
Yes.
concept is quite different compared to the developer cohort, like I said. So right now, around 50 people have been registered in one day to the study group. So I I saw a lot of people from the developer cohort, so it's quite amazing to see you again there. Yeah, GM. And really congratulations with all your involvement during the first developer course because I know it was the first step of a lot of people, and it was the objective, like to start as a beginner in to just to start developing in Web3. So yeah, we are quite surprised and we are really enjoying the result behind this developer course. And right now, it's a study group. So study groups, the concept is quite different. Oh, okay, no problem. The concept is quite different. So that means it's a collective, like we're gonna share knowledge between each other because it's important as well to progress. Like for example, today we're gonna lead the session by example. So that's mean voila, gonna do a presentation about the section 1, and then I will share my screen because I want to show you the Solidity study groups that we're gonna follow together. Wait. Yeah. So share my screen. This one. So here, yeah, like in fact, in this section, like we have we have 4 sessions. So sample storage, storage factory, me, and I prompting. So this one we're gonna skip it. And just in fact, before every session, you need to practice by yourself. That means you need to follow all this video, and in fact, don't worry about the level because it's really starting from scratch. Like I know some people who doesn't know anything about Web3 development and even in Web3, and starting like learning about Web3 by this way, and just understand not every concept, but like really fast and really friendly by with a friendly way about Web3 development. So really don't be afraid about the level. It's pretty beginner and well explained. So yeah, in fact, you just need to follow the video, and then sometimes you have a couple of quiz just to make sure you really understand what you are doing. And in fact, during this type of session, this type of call meeting, the goal is to have one people volunteer to present what they learn during the special section. So the first section, and especially around until this point, I guess. Voila, gonna do the first one, and then for the next session tomorrow, someone will prepare a recap of the rest of the session. And just the goal, yes, is to learn by practice and share your knowledge with everyone. Yes, it's super important. So just to resume, to recap about what is this study group, is you first you need to do to make this video, to follow this video. Then when we're gonna have this meeting, you have to share your knowledge if you are volunteer to do it. And then we have an office hour. So if you don't understand something, we are here just to help you. You will be able to share your screen, and we're gonna review what's wrong and stuff like that. Did you understand what is the goal of? Okay, cool, nice. So yeah, the first volunteer is Juala. But probably, Voila, is it possible to show your board related to the session to see if people want to be volunteer for the next session, or we can do it at the end? Yes, we can do it at the end. Probably is better. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Feel free to introduce yourself, by the way, parce que.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So my name is Haula. I used oh so I used to be a blockchain developer, but now I'm a technical product manager. So I am leading the Solidity Sisters study group, which is also part of her DAO. And we're also doing Cypher and Updraft, so feel free to join. What else? Yes, what am I doing? I am building a product in like in the realm of real world assets. We're doing tokenization. I have been in crypto since 2021, I think. And yes, so if you have any questions if you're new to crypto and you have questions about how to be a blockchain dev, or you want to get into Web3 product, let me know. I'm here to answer all kinds of questions. And thank you, Salon, for letting me be part of this. Okay. So, okay, let's get into it. Where shall we start? Okay, so everyone can see my screen, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So let's first talk about, so what I'm gonna do is cover the first few sections, or first few lessons from section 1, which is simple storage. So everyone should be enrolled in the course. Sorry. So everyone should be enrolled in the course. It's called Solidity Smart Contract Development. That would be the second course. And then what you need to do is start with this section number 1. So I will start talking about what Solidity is. Let's talk about what Solidity is. Okay. So first of all, Solidity is an object-oriented programming language. 1 minute. I'll have to. Okay. So Solidity is an object-oriented programming language, and it's a high-level language. So what does that mean? If you're familiar with Java, Java is also an object-oriented programming language. So it's revolved around the concept of objects. And there are things like classes, inheritance, what else? Homomorphism, I think that's what it's called. There's so many there's so many concepts under these kind of languages. And they typically have a class that looks like this, and inside the class there are like methods and properties. So Solidity is one of those languages, an object-oriented programming language. Okay, and then it is a high-level language. So there are some languages that are low-level, like assembly. That those languages are closer to the machine language, to the machine language. But Solidity is more of a high-level language where it's easier for us as humans to read this language. And what is it used for? It's used for implementing smart contracts. Is this the only language that exists out there for writing smart contracts? No, there are many other languages that you can use for writing smart contracts, but this would be the most popular one. Okay, as it says here, it is influenced by languages such as C++, Python, and JavaScript. And what else? Yes, and it's a statically typed language, supports inheritance, libraries, and complex user-defined types, among other features. So let's see how the basic layout of a Solidity smart contract looks like. So I'll open up Remix. Remix is an IDE. So what that means is that, what was it? It's an integrated development environment. So an IDE is something that you can, so this is a browser IDE. Can somebody mute? Oh, okay. Okay, so you have a browser IDE, and then you have an IDE that you can actually install on your computer. For example, Visual Studio Code. This is what I think most of you use. You can use this browser IDE and download it on your computer and use it there. Or you can use this browser IDE like Remix. I don't think devs usually use this. Maybe if you want to debug something really quickly, a smart contract quickly, or you want to test for something, you would use Remix IDE, but usually you would need to download something like Visual Studio Code and then set up your smart contract development environment and run your code there. So what an IDE allows you to do, it helps you with like it gives you like if you're compiling for a code, it shows you where is it failing, what are the errors. It's like it sort of helps you with your programming, and it makes it a lot faster. Instead of using something like let's say Sublime Text, if you're aware of Sublime Text, which is just it's just it's just for writing text. Like it does not help you much versus an IDE, which is super rich and it has a lot of features that can help you with your programming. So I would always recommend using an IDE. Okay, so let's see what is the basic layout of a Solidity source file. We start with the SPDX, which is something which is like the software license. So there are many types of software licenses that you can use. And if yours is something that is unlicensed, then you can also indicate that in your source file, in your Solidity source file. So what does a Solidity source file looks like? Let's define it here. That's an old one that I had, so I'll just change the name. Okay, so first you go to Remix, and then you click on this one, create a new file, and you give it any name. That would be the name of your contract, and make sure that I'll show you in a bit, but let's call it simple storage .sol. So .sol is the extension that you give the file extension. Okay, delete, delete, and then create a new one, simple storage. Okay. Okay, so now we've created a Solidity file, and the way that you can, so like even like if you have written in JavaScript, for example, your file would end with .js. In this case, because you're writing code in Solidity, then you would have to end your file in .sol. Okay, so then the first thing we do is that we use the software license indicator. So you put that here, and then we'll give it an MIT license. This does not matter much. And then the next thing would be to specify the compiler version. So what happens is that you write code in Solidity, and then you say pragma Solidity, and then you write the version here, the version of the compiler. So what happens is that you write the code in Solidity, and then that code gets compiled, and it gets broken down into two things. Let me show you here. Okay, so you'd have a .sol file, and then it goes through the Solidity compiler. The Solidity compiler processes this code, and then it gives you a bytecode and then an ABI. A bytecode is what is going to be given to the EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine. And then the ABI is sort of like, it's like an interface for the methods or the functions or the events that you have inside your contract. And then you're going to use that for integrating your application with the contract. Okay. So you want to specify the version of Solidity that you're going to be using. In this case, we can use something like I think it was 0.8.18, right? Okay. And then we can give it this hat. So this hat means you say pragma Solidity, and then you specify the compiler version. And then if you give it this hat, that means start from this version, 0.8.18 and above. Like, so if you are using a compiler that is, for example, 0.8.19, you use that compiler to process this file, then it should work because you have because it's compatible with any compiler version above the one that you've specified. So that's something that you can do, and you can also specify a range for your for the compiler version. That's another thing that you can do. But let's say we are like this file can be compiled with a compiler of version 0.8.18 and above. So that's it. Those are the first two things that you do. You specify your software license. And I think it was saying that if it's not, what did it say? Yeah. Okay. If you don't want to specify a license, or if the source code is not open source, then you can use the special value unlicensed. But in our case, we used MIT's license, and then we specified the compiler version. So that's it. Now the next part is to write the contract. So once that is done, you can start writing the contract. And the way it works, you say, let's see, structure of a contract. And like while you're learning Solidity, it's important that you also use the documentation. And that's something that I've learned in my journey as being a dev. I'm not the best dev out there, and I'm very mediocre. But like using documentations, I wish somebody told me to use documentations when I first started learning to code. That's really important. Like always make it your main source of learning. So the first thing that you pick up is a Solidity documentation and everything else is secondary. So just a quick tip for navigating Solidity and like programming languages in general. Okay. So yeah, so remember when we said about compilers having a range? It would look something like this. You would say Pragma Solidity start with version 0.4.0 or and above, but it should be less than 0.9.0. So that's also something that you can specify in your file or Solidify. Okay. So we start with the keyword contract. That's the first thing that you do. You say contract and then you give it a name. You say simple storage. That would be the name of your contract. And then you would open a curly brace. Is that what it's called? A curly bracket? Yeah. And then you say contract and then the name of your contract, and then you open those curly brackets. And then everything else, like all of the logic of your contract will happen inside here. Okay? So I will try to remember what this contract is supposed to do. Okay. Sorry if I'm moving things fast. Okay. Then I think let's get into the different types of variables in Solidity. There's a whole section of him, a lesson of him explaining the different types here, basic variable types. And he introduces those three types. Sorry, not three types. There's actually what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types. I think there's more. So these are the variable types in Solidity. There is Boolean, bool, and then there is uint, actually, not unit. It's uint, which is an unsigned integer. This is a positive integer, so I think it starts from 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, and then to infinity. And then you have int. Int can be a negative number. So if you want to use a negative integer, then you can use you can give it this variable type. And if you want it to be a positive, a negative, a positive. Only use positive integers with this type, and then negative integers and positive integers here. And then you have string and bytes, and you also have an address. And with every programming languages, there are default values. So I think the default, so something like bool, like if you say, so if we say bool, and then we define a variable that is, what is it called? What should we call the variable? I don't know, it's true. And then if you just declare this variable, what do you think would be the value assigned to it? If we, let's do this function. Can it be red? Let's see. Yeah, so I'll explain later what I did, but see this. So I have declared a variable that is called is true, and the type is bool. And bool can be either true or false, right? So in every programming languages, there are default values given to the variables. And in this case,
yes, I can hear you.
sorry?
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, so is true is a Boolean variable. And if you try to read the value, the current value, even though we have not assigned anything, but the default value will always be false in this case. So let's explore the other ones. Let's do a string public, string public, what should we call it? Name, I don't know. Name, okay. What would be the default value in this case? Wait, actually, let's do, oh, before we go there, let's do uint public number. Uint number. So that's an integer, right? It's an unsigned integer. That means it's positive. It's always positive. So what do you think would be, can someone guess what would be the value of this variable, uint number? What would be the default value? You can type it in the chat. Okay, let's see. Yes, it's 0. Let's go. And if we do int, do you think it would be the same? Okay. Let's compile and deploy. Wait, no, it's this one. Yes, it's 0. Okay, let's try the string now. What do you think would be the default value? Should be string with 0, like, okay, let's see. What was it? Yes, that's true. It's 0. It's a string of 0, like, yes. Okay, nice. So, what is something else that we did not try? Address. Let's try address, public, my account. What do you think would be the default value of address? Can anyone guess? Okay, nice. Let's see. Yes, so you are all correct. It would be a 0 address. Yeah, so have we explored all types? Bytes. Bytes is kind of similar to strings, but I think you can, with bytes, you can manipulate it more, I guess. I think you can do more stuff with bytes. I don't recall the differences now, but I think you can do more stuff with bytes. But they kind of act the same. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Now we have explored the types. What should we do next? Let's see. Anyone has questions so far before we start? What should we do next? We should start writing the function. Shall we do this quiz? Let's do this quiz. It's after setting up the contract. Okay. So if you have it open, then let's do it together. It says there are 3 questions ahead of you. Don't worry about getting them right. Okay, let's get started. Okay. What programming language is primarily used for EVM-based smart contract development? Who can answer this question? Solidity. Yee, let's try. Check answer. Yes, correct. Okay, let's move on. What is the keyword pragma used for? It defines custom data types. It is used to handle low-level assembly code. It is used to create external libraries for Solidity functions. It specifies the version of the Solidity compiler that should be used. Version. 1, A, B, C, D. Last one. Okay, Let's do this. Yes, correct. Good job. Next. Last. What compiling a contract mean? It converts the Solidity code into bytecode and ABI that can be understood and executed by the EVM. Or it converts high-level Solidity functions into machine code that runs natively on any blockchain. Or it optimizes the Solidity code to minimize gas usage and directly generates a deployed smart contract without bytecode. That's a lot. The fourth one is it creates a stateful binary representation of the contract that includes gas pricing prediction and ensures compatibility with all Ethereum forks. What do you all think? A. Yes. Yay, we got it all right. Thank you. Nice try. Okay. So we've covered the basic variable types. Now let's do functions. Okay, let's do functions. Let's go. Okay, functions. Where do we start? Let me try to remember. Okay, so we'll introduce a store function. Nice. Okay, now simple storage. We're going to introduce a new variable that is called, what should we call it? He said favorite number, right? My favorite number. That's called my favorite number or favorite number. And then let's create a function that is called store that will return this number. So once we start writing functions, we say, 1 minute, sorry. Okay. So we start with the keyword function, and then we give the name of the function, which is store, and then what do you call it? So the parameters, whatever you want to pass to the function, you put it here. But right now we don't want to pass anything to the function. You will keep empty. And then we want this function. Oh, actually, no, it stores. Okay, so it stores. So if it's gonna store, then we need to pass the number, right? So favorite number. And you're gonna, no visibility specified, 1 minute. Why is the compiler screwing at me? Yeah. So then we're gonna pass our number to the function store, and then the function store will take this number and give it to our number here. Right? Okay. Let me just remember. Okay. And then you're gonna give it a visibility of public. Yeah, oh, actually, let's see. What if we don't give the visibility? Is it always public? What do you think? Like if we remove the keyword public from a variable, what is the default visibility of that variable? Public? Do you all agree? Private. Private? Let's see. I don't know either, actually. I forgot. Compile. Let's see. Hmm. What happened? Ah, no, where is it? Why is it gone? That's interesting. Let's deploy again. Oh. Okay, now what if I do public? Let's see. Compile. Deploy again. Ah, okay. So then I think, yeah. Internal. Okay. I think, yeah, if it's not showing up, then it's definitely not public. But I'm not sure, is it private or is it internal? I think those are different things. Where was there was a cheat sheet, right? Is that what it's called? Sheet? Where is it? A cheat sheet. They usually have it here. Ah, this one. A cheat sheet. Let's see what it says. It shows you the different modifiers. No, yeah, the visibility specifiers, yes. Public, internal, only visible internally, public, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this. So there are function visibility specifiers. So you can say whether this function is public or private. If you say public, that means everybody can see this function, everybody can access this function. And also, when you specify a public function, it creates a getter function for it. So I think we can, okay, let's not get into this. So there's public, then there's private, which is only visible inside your contract, and then there's external, which is only visible externally for other functions. Can only be message called. Okay, interesting. And then internal, only visible internally inside the contract. Wait, external and internal can be confusing sometimes. You know what? I probably need the Solidity recap. But then there are modifiers that you can give to also your functions. So you specify the visibility and then you add to it. So you say, is it pure? Is it view? Is it payable? And also, is it constant? Is it mutable? La, la, la. So there's like a whole list of things that you can add to your function to specify what it can do, who can see it, who can access it, what can it, what can do inside your contract, and who can see it. So you can use all a combination of these keywords to define your function. So in our case, we'll keep our function store, which we said will pass uint. We'll pass a number that's called favorite number. And then if you want to make the parameter different than your different this one, which is like your global variable kind of, then you just put an underscore here just to make it clear for you that they're both different. And then, yeah, I think there's a whole list of best practices that you can also access here. They usually have something here. Style guide, I think. Yeah, have a look at this. When you're writing Solidity, also follow this style guide. Like, it's really important. And you'll see a lot of people using it in their code too. So then now we want to store, and then we're going to give it a visibility of public. And then what's going to do, it's going to take the favorite number, and it's going to assign it to this parameter. Okay. Yeah, so then let's do this. So now we have written this contract that's called simple storage. It has a function that's called store. And then we're going to compile this code and deploy it. So let's compile. So you go here to the Solidity compiler, you compile first, then you go and deploy your contract to the blockchain. Like, this is just a fake environment, a fake blockchain. So you can deploy as many times as you want. You can do whatever you want here. So then let's deploy that. And now we have, because our variable here is public, we have a getter function that comes with this. That's what they were saying here, right? Yeah. They're saying here that if you specify something as public, it will also create a getter function for it. So that's how we are able to call or like to access this value, because there's a function that we can call that will return this the value of this variable since it's a public variable. So right now it's 0. Remember, the default value is 0 for unsigned integers. And oh, somebody's writing on my screen. Hello. And now we're gonna pass a value to the store function, and that will be, let's say my favorite number is 10. Because this is a smart contract, so what we are doing, we're doing a transaction here. We are doing a transaction, so this will cost some gas, which is gas is like something that you pay for getting your transactions executed on the blockchain. So then you call this function store, and you see this, it shows you here the hash, the transaction hash. It shows you the block number, which block has included your transaction. It shows you the cost of the transaction. What else? And then this was the input, which was 10. Now if I call favorite number, it should be 10. So there you go. Now we have a function that takes a number and it stores that number and assigns it to this variable. Now, what if I have another function? Okay. What if I have another function that what does it do? It just returns a variable. So let's say get favorite number. Let's call it get favorite number. And it's gonna be public, and it's going to return a uint. So this is what we call a getter function. A getter function, like a getter function's job is to just return a value to you. So you will do the same thing. You will use the function keyword. You'll give it a name, and then you'll specify the visibility, and then you say returns, and then you mention what it's, so if it's going to return a value, you use the keyword returns, and then you mention what is the type of data that it's going to be returning. So it's going to return one variable of type uint. What if it's returning multiple variables? Then I think you can also do that. You can say that it is returning two variables of type uint. Sometimes you can give it a name also. I think you can say uint number. You can do that, but or you can just use the type, or just mention the type. So it's gonna return it's gonna return a number, and I wanted to return something. So what if we have another variable? Let's call it uint some random number, and we'll give it a value of 11. What is it saying? Okay. And then let's say this function wants to return this random number. It wants to say return. So if it returns, then you also have to use the return keyword here, and you say return random number. Oh, yikes. I kind of gave it away. But then do you think this is possible? Like, can we do this? And why is it throwing an error? Why do you think that is happening? We need to pass it. Yes. No, it's not. You're kind of getting close. It's not because it's public. What if we said public? Is that gonna be a problem? No. Expected semicolon, but got public. Okay, what if we try to access? Okay, let's forget about this. What if we try to access this? But there's a stronger reason as to why you can't do that. And it has something to do with the function scope. I feel it needs to be globally accessible. Yes. Briscilla, right? Briscilla. Yes, it needs to be globally accessible. So because favorite number does not is not like, how do you say that? Like, it's the function get favorite number is not aware of this parameter. This parameter is local to this function. This function knows about this parameter, which is underscore favorite number, but this function has no clue what we're talking about. If I told it to fetch favorite number, then that's fine. It can do that, but if I said underscore favorite number, it throws an error because it's not aware of this kind of variable. But if you declare a variable here at the beginning of your contract, outside of all these functions, then yes, it can access it. Any function that you declare can access that value. But as long as this particular variable or any other variable is inside the curly brackets of the specific function, then all the other functions have no awareness of that variable. So yes, so it's because of the scope of the variable, correct. So now it will return favorite number. Even though we already have a getter function for this, let's declare another one that does that. And now it's giving me a warning. So if there's an error, then the compiler will show you a red line. And that is usually something that you cannot bypass. Like, you have to fix your error or else the compiler will not take in your code. But if it's something like if it's a yellow line, then it's just a warning. You can skip that. So it's saying function state mutability can be restricted to view. So this is another keyword that you can assign to your function, another modifier. So view disallows modification of state. So what is happening here, if we call this function view, then this function cannot do anything. Like, it cannot do what the store function can do. Like, it cannot take favorite number and assign it with some other number. It cannot modify the state of that variable, but it can read the state of that variable. So it can fetch favorite number and it can show that to you. But if you say it's a pure function, it's a pure public function, then that is not permissible. That's not allowed. Because if it's a pure function, then the pure function should simply like return it. So the pure function cannot modify a state, which is exactly what the view function cannot do. And not only that, it cannot read the state of any existing variable. So if this is a pure function, it cannot read favorite number. You can return any number like 8, and that would work. But if you want to read the state of an existing variable, then that will not work because it's a pure function. So pure is very restrictive. You want to use view because that's what you want. You want to access the state of the variable. And that's pretty much it. Now you can compile and you can deploy and you can call get favorite. It's 0. Right now it's doing the same thing as this getter function, but the difference is that we have defined this variable. And then we store number 11, and then we call get favorite number, and returns 11. So that's pretty much it, I guess. So we have seen, is there anything else that I missed? I did not, I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. So the recap is um when you write Solidity code, um first of all, like always start with the documentation. And then once you start with the documentation, you read through it. And then now that you know how to write Solidity code, first thing that you do is that you specify the software license and then the compiler version that you're using, and think about what other compilers you want to be compatible with your contract, and then based on that specify the versions and the range if you want. And I think a lot of people, maybe I think they use the hat. I'm not sure. I had not seen Solidity code in a while. And then when you want to start writing your contract, you start with the keyword and make sure that the contract name matches your contract file name. I don't remember exactly if it causes errors, but it's I think you should always make them match. And then you declare your variables, whatever you want to be visible and accessible to all of the functions, you put that first, you put that here. And then you write down your functions. You should know the differences between a getter function and then versus a function will modify the state of your variable. And then you give it the different types of, you can use the different combinations here for the visibility specifiers, the modifiers, and then what else? And then, yeah, and then know the difference between view, pure, how much should you, like what should you allow your function to and do, and then what else? Yes, that's pretty much it. I think I will stop here because it might be a little overwhelming. But then the next section would start to talk about arrays, structs. Then there's storage and call data. This is also an important section. You'll also explore mappings. Then we can deploy our first contract on a test net. So it's not going to be one of those fake blockchains. It's going to be more of a test net. Then there's another quiz, and then we're going to look into ZK Sync, which is some type of blockchain that we'll talk about later. And that's pretty much it. Does anybody have questions so far? I think Solana will leave the rest of the time for questions, and if anybody has.
I think so, yeah. Thank you for your amazing workshop. I just like tweeting about it.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I think you are pretty clear. Just like people, I think gonna have question as well when doing
Yeah.
watching video, you know. So probably tomorrow. So what we can suggest right now is on your side to practice by showing the video, watching the video, and because everything is really well explained. And I'm gonna put this recording session on YouTube, and I will send you the link like we have done for the developer week, developer cohorts. And yes, another question will be more about who is volunteer to do the next
Yes.
yeah, the next
Let's do
session
that.
tomorrow. We really appreciated your help because, like I said, it's a study group, so everyone has to be involved to progress collectively. And yeah, just drop a message on the chat if you are interested to continue just the section. And we will show it tomorrow. So if you are not feeling comfortable to do the same thing that Paula done today, no worries, just sharing about what we are learned, what was the blockers and stuff like that, because that can up to different open discussion. So yeah, basically don't be shy. We are all here to learn, and I think the first step is really complex for everyone, but yeah, that will be worth it, no reason.
Yeah. So I think for the next section, maybe like two people can volunteer and help each other. So there's arrays and structs, errors and warnings, memory storage and call data, and somebody else can explore ZK sync part. Who is comfortable doing that? We can all help each other. It's a good exercise for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are so shy.
Yes. Shall we pick random names?
Oh yeah, okay, full procedure, super. Um, Fifi. Okay. What Fifi is your name or it's like a surname?
Yeah, it's my name.
Okay. About the array. Okay. So I will not who is taking care of what, and I will make a recap by email.
Yes, please.
So Fifi for array. Okay. Priscilla. So you are interested by doing ZK sync, okay? And anyone else want to take a special topic? Don't be shy. Mm, 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 mm.
Yes. Cherry will do mappings.
Ah, mapping. Oh yeah, nice, nice. So mapping. Okay, noted. Um, So the next session will be tomorrow at the same time, but no worries if you are not super ready. That's fine. We are really chill. Like as usual, like I said, the slogan is learn and chill.
Yes. Learn
Yeah.
and chill. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. So 3 people are volunteer. No pressure. Really no pressure. Um, and see you tomorrow. And don't hesitate if you have any question to put it directly on the coding club. So I will re-put the link here. Wait, and I will send you by email as well. No worries. Boom, 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 boom. So we have a special group. The coding club, and inside of this one, a subgroup called Solidity Study Group. So you can find everything here. All good for you? Hope you enjoy your first session and don't forget to do like to watch a video. It's more for you than for you, for me or for Erda or etc. It's really just for you if you want to progress.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, and at the end, you can get a certification by Cyphren, and this one is really helpful to find a job. Like a lot of people find a job thanks to Cyphren. So yeah, it's just an hint. Okay. Bye bye. To choose.
Thank you all. Bye bye. Take care.